Hello again, you're watching UTV Live tonight. A North Belfast man who is dying from asbestosis has won a case in the High Court against his former employers. 71-year-old Arthur Rafferty, who used to be a docker, won an undisclosed sum of money and has vowed to continue his campaign to help others suffering from asbestosis. Aidan Kennedy reports.
Arthur Rafferty is a fighter. The former boxer is dying from asbestosis but refuses to be beaten down. Today, he won a High Court battle against his former employers to prove the impact of asbestos. Arthur started work in the docks in the 1950s, heaving bags of asbestos off ships. He was one of thousands of men working with the deadly cargo.
And no one ever told us about the dangers of this. We never got not as much as a paper mask. It was a dangerous job. We reported that to our union a couple of times about the dangers of it and the dust, but our union done absolutely nothing about it.
It was only 10 years ago that Arthur's past came back to haunt him when a doctor diagnosed him with asbestosis.
He told me, now there's nothing we can do for you. And that in itself knocked me out, because I was a professional boxer. I never drank, and I never smoked. And I always kept myself fit. And for a man to come up to you and say, there's nothing we can do for you.
After he was diagnosed, Arthur decided to sue his former employers, but had no idea of the difficult path that lay ahead. It was here at the Manor Hospital in North Belfast in 2002 that Mr. Rafferty was first diagnosed with asbestosis. In 2007, the hospital came back to him and said that he did not, in fact, have the killer disease, but would eventually develop it. As a result, a court decided to put his case for compensation against his employers on hold. Arthur said that at the time he could not understand how he could have been treated for asbestosis for 5 years and then be told he didn't have the disease. And so he decided to get a second opinion. He went to see a specialist doctor in Liverpool who concluded that he did indeed have the disease.
He's point blankly says, yes, you do have asbestosis, you do have bronchiectasis, and you also have pleural plaques. Yet these radiologists here in Belfast, 3 of them, one from the Mater, one from the City, and one from the Royal, couldn't find any.
And so Arthur began his legal fight again. Today, he won his case against his former employers in the High Court, receiving an undisclosed sum of money.
Even 2 barristers in the court that have been following my case, and I don't know them from Adam, they come up to me and shook my hands. He says that was a David and a Goliath.
Arthur says he's now planning to take a case against the doctors in the Belfast Trust he alleges are responsible for his misdiagnosis. But in the meantime, he says he'll continue his campaign to help others suffering from the disease.
I'm fighting on now 11 years, and I told them right from the word go that I'm in here for the full 15 rounds, and I think they know what I mean. I'm not going to win. I'm going to war.
Joining us from London is the DUP MP Nigel Dodds, who's been campaigning on Arthur's behalf for many years. Good news indeed for Mr. Rafferty after a long battle.
I'm absolutely delighted at the news today. I've known Arthur for many years. I've been fighting alongside him to get justice in his case, and I'm thrilled today that he has got to the position where he has, and it'll not stop Arthur from continuing to campaign on behalf of others, of course, but good news on his front.
And it's been a long, long campaign.
It has. I mean, I first met Arthur some 10 years ago, and we have been battling on his case, but also highlighting the case of other sufferers of asbestosis-related diseases, pleural plaques and so on. And there have been many turns, and we're not there yet, but we have made considerable progress, so it's good news on that front.
How many sufferers like Arthur Rafferty are there out there, do you think?
Well, it's hard to put a precise figure on it. I mean, we know certainly that there are dozens, but there could be hundreds more. Men, primarily men, who worked in the docks, in heavy engineering, and for whom no safety or health and safety precautions were taken at the time about asbestosis or dealing with it or the effects of it. And the various insurance companies have tried to put roadblocks in the way of those who have suffered. There have been all sorts of legal challenges. In the Assembly, I'm delighted when I was Finance Minister that we introduced plans to change the law, and that has now come to fruition to allow claims to proceed. But I believe it could affect hundreds of people and many of their families as well.
So should this then pave the way for other sufferers or their families to take action?
Well, I think it certainly sends a very strong signal that people who have cases or who think they may have been subjected or got this disease through their workplace, that they should go to their solicitor, go to their legal advisor, seek to see what kind of redress and compensation that they can get. And we have changed the law now in Northern Ireland so that for pleural plaque sufferers, for instance, people will now be able to take claims, whereas previously the House of Lords had barred that, and we changed the law in Northern Ireland to ensure that people could take their cases.
Because it does appear that this has been swept under the carpet.
Well, sadly, for many, many years, victims of asbestosis-related disease through the workplace were the forgotten sufferers. They were the victims in all of this, and for many years, until people like Arthur came along, they had no compensation, no recompense. I'm delighted that Arthur has fought. He was a boxer in his youth, and he's still continuing to fight today, and he's delivering a knockout blow, and we'll be there alongside him as we continue to fight for justice for this band of workers.
Nigel Dodds in London, thank you.
Thank you.
Well